You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back to the Why Smart Women podcast. Today is, what's the date, David?
It's the 20th. Is it the 20th of November today, or is it the 19th?
It's the 19th of November. You will be listening to this on the 20th of November. I am broadcasting from DY in the Northern Beaches, Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, and it is a pristine, perfect spring day. And as I look at the news in the evening and I look at the reporters all over Europe, I note it's getting cold over there. So sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. You all need to come to Australia for a holiday. So last night we were preparing for our acting class, and David, in the previous couple of hours, had an experience where he'd done a casting for a job, and the casting situation, environment was not positive, was it, David?
Oh no! I mean, it was probably one of the worst casting conversations that I've had with the director and the apparatchiks that I've ever had, and really quite surprised about it. I would even say it was kind of insulting, when it was an opportunity to have a conversation at depth to
understand your perspective on the role.
Yeah, that's right. To get alignment around values, to talk about approaches to actually performing this particular role. Instead of having that rich, clarifying conversation, it just felt like a tick the box. What do you know about us? What can you tell us that we can put to our advantage if you were to join us? So
it was a very disappointing casting.
Oh, look.
And I think the tone of it, when you discussed it later, is they were dismissive, rude, disinterested, and also a bit bullying. Would you agree with that? And we don't need that in the arts, do we?
Well,
the arts are hard enough.
I felt it right from the very, very beginning
of the casting.
The director was intent on keeping me in my place.
Yeah.
When the video conference began, I sort of greeted everybody. I'd done a bit of research on everybody, sort of knew their names, got a sense of who they were. And said hello, and then the director sort of wrested back control and said, "Well, let me do the introductions." Yes,
it's very important, David, that you don't overstep the line, isn't it? So that's a real status issue. That's a real power grab for power.
So look, it was really disappointing, a bit insulting, and it does not make me think that this particular organisation has got a good culture.
Yeah, and I think that's
simple
great.
As that.
And
Move
so
on.
we were talking about this prior to starting our acting class that we teach on Tuesday nights, and we were talking about how we could wreak revenge upon the company and the director. That's what we were talking about.
In a tongue-in-cheek way. I mean, of course, there's no way.
I don't mind a bit of it. And
that was the tone of the conversation.
Yeah.
You were waving swords and shields in the air. We're going to wreak revenge, and I was sort of doing the you got to take the good with the bad. But the very lovely scented yoga teacher overheard Annie, and then thought it was a good time to give her some a performance conversation.
Okay, so we had this discourse, and she was like, "You should forgive," and I was like, "Well, should we? Whose rule book is this? I don't want to forgive. And then she was saying, well, the only person that's damaging is you because you're hanging on to, the sort of the negative emotion. So this, this whole notion of, be the bigger person and let it go and don't hold a grudge, etc. And my point about it was that forgiveness is very, very loaded when it comes to women. We are socialised, are we not, to smooth the edges and hold the emotional centre and maintain the relationship and also understand where the other person's coming from, right? So anyway, we had this sort of discourse, and also prior to that, which also maybe put me in mind to have an argument, a discussion, was that I had done some yoga the week before and the music wasn't working, and she had said to the room, that's because Mercury's in retrograde. Which is an astrological bit of nonsense. Anyway, so I was sort of like, right. So
how did that impact on the music?
Well, David, don't you know anything about Mercury in retrograde and astrology?
I guess I don't.
Well, can I help you out there? When Mercury is in retrograde, it does all sorts of terrible things, one of which is ruins communication lines. I didn't know that, did you?
Okay.
Anyway, so I guess I'd already had a bit of a going when she sort of thrust the idea that I need to be forgiving. I find the notion of revenge, sort of deeply satisfying. Having a go back. I don't want people to not be, people should be held accountable for what they do.
Absolutely.
I don't want to drift around the place like some sort of monk wandering out of a cave. I don't want that.
No. And I could see Annie had been sort of hooked into this conversation.
I was hooked.
When I heard the question, how old are you?
Exactly.
How old are you? And the yoga teacher provided that information. Then Annie informed her that Annie herself was twice her age, and has a different perspective.
I do have a different perspective, and as you know, I find these sort of memes around. Look, of course, there's upsides to forgiveness. I mean, I know that. It's certainly.
Do you?
Of course, if you're hanging on to something, it's absolutely pointless, and it does clutter up your brain. Of course, I think there's a place for forgiveness, but I don't think it should be reflexive. I don't think you should automatically go, because I think what it is a lot of the time is just women being submissive.
Yeah.
Just going, I've just got to forgive. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. I can do what I like. If I want to forgive, I will. I will try and analyse my critical thinking, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, what's the damage that's done when people forgive too easily and too soon?
Well, I think people forgive too easily and too soon when they want to go towards the old peace at any price. And if you forgive before you've processed what happened, then all that happens is all the fury and the rage goes underground, right? Also, a lot of this forgiveness nonsense is definitely aimed at us from an exterior. There's somebody who will be saying to us, like it happened to me yesterday, well, you should be you should move into a forgiving space. And also, it can just reinforce a power imbalance. Somebody who's been vile, you move quickly into forgiveness. Well, how, where's the lesson that they have to learn that they can't do that to you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that was sort of, that was where I...
that's where you were last night.
Yeah, that's where I were. And then that's where I were. Yeah. Look, the thing is that people need to be held accountable if they've done the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And going into some sort of premature forgiveness, is just a way to go into some sort of conflict avoidance.
Okay,
it's just avoidance.
So forgiving somebody might be right when the process of forgiving them actually makes you feel calmer, not tighter. Calmer at the thought of letting it go. It could be right when you've made sure that people are accountable for what they have done, even if people's contribution has been imperfect. When you are choosing to forgive and not just pretending to forgive or performing forgiveness because that's what's expected of you, and when it genuinely gives you back, energy or space or freedom, then it's the right thing. But it's not the right thing when the process of doing it actually compounds that feeling of,
well, you're
of resentment.
Yeah. When someone's demanding forgiveness because it's proof that you're a really good person, it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. So anyway, that happened last night. And then I was telling David about this morning. And then what I normally do prior to doing the podcast is I have my very own opinions. But then what I'll do is I'll have a little bit of a search on AI.
All right.
And just to see what it says about, whatever it is that I'm talking about.
Yeah, to clarify your thinking, get other perspectives.
Yeah, so I don't just get stuck in my own.
You want to use it as a kind of a collaborative tool.
I do.
Yep.
So I did my usual search on AI, and then I was showing that to David, and what happened was quite interesting. Do you want to describe what happened?
Well, I mean, I noticed Annie's first prompt. Into ChatGPT, she wrote, "What are the positive and negative aspects of forgiveness?" And what came out of ChatGPT was kind of what you expect.
It certainly didn't. It's sort of. I've been investigating these sort of what I call social memes for a long time. So I've been investigating, way before ChatGPT or any of the others. I was onto the fact, if I may say, that that acceptance and
gratitude
had serious downsides. So I've got some pretty well formulated opinions through a lot of research on things like gratitude, acceptance, and forgiveness. So what I'm looking for when I go to an AI, is that what I call it? Yeah. Is I want something that doesn't just give me what I already think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't. There's no point in that. Like, I've got some well formulated ideas. It's what I'm doing on the podcast. Right?
Yeah. And the I mean, there was nothing in your first prompt that actually was groundbreaking or paradigm shifting or anything like that.
No, nothing.
And I think, as I was watching Annie doing this, I thought, this is so common to the way that a lot of people are using AI at the moment. And
I hate AI.
You do? Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all.
I hate it.
What do you hate about it?
I sort of hate its. I don't like its tone.
Mm-hmm. You don't like its tone?
No, I don't like its tone. I don't like its sort of unbridled optimism. I just don't like it. It's like a really crawly. I guess that's an Australian term for our European and Asian listeners. But
so you find it sycophantic?
It's really sycophantic.
Like, Annie, you're so smart. What a great idea. No one's talking about this.
It's like one of those employees that always wants to go and get your lunch for you and tell you how fantastic you are, and it's just really crawly and sycophantic.
I'm just trying to imagine a world in which you would be unhappy with someone saying, "Annie, can I get you lunch?"
I'm okay about the lunch.
The lunch, yeah.
I'm not okay about someone constantly telling me how great I am. Actually, I'd quite like that.
But
can you give that a go? Just telling me how great I am.
Annie, you're a genius.
Thank you. Do you mean that?
I feel warmed by
being near me.
Your outstanding balance of perspectives and insights.
Thank you.
You help me make sense of this crazy world in which we live.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that doing it for you?
No.
Why not?
You didn't commit to that.
Okay, look, I was just paying lip service to it. And funnily enough, that's the way that AI will work. AI's prime mission is not to be truthful. It is to be convincing in the way that it works.
Can we just ignore it? Like not have it be part of our life?
If you can find yourself a rock to go live under, then you possibly could ignore it. But whether we like it or not, AI has already crept into so much of the things that we just do habitually in daily life.
Like what?
Well, I mean, look, one little test for somebody is to go to their applications page, take a screenshot of all the applications that they're currently using, upload that screenshot into a ChatGPT or a Copilot or a Claude.
Are they all LLMs?
They're all LLMs.
Large language models.
Large language models. Gee, you said that like an expert.
I know.
And you can ask it, how many of these are actually using AI in order to deliver the services that I'm currently taking?
And will it tell you?
And it'll tell you. It'll go through, and you'll be surprised how many of the tools that we currently use today have actually got a little bit of AI into them. Now, I mean, Annie's incompetence using AI.
Mean?
Well, no, look, it's just the truth. It's actually very similar to the way that a lot of people in business, leaders, managers, are relating to AI at the moment. You know, the truth and the data backs up my own sort of anecdotal experience that a lot of leaders are performing confidence. You know, they're saying, "Oh yeah, I've got this. I'm using it. I'm being more productive," when they're quietly feeling outpaced.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, look,
I feel outpaced.
the pressure that is on these people is that I think a lot of boards are saying to the market, yeah, we're acting on AI, we're putting things in place, but the evidence actually doesn't match the rhetoric. One of the big consulting firms, I think it was it KPMG or Deloitte? 70% of boards are saying we're making meaningful steps in the application of AI to achieving our mission, but surveyed only about 30% of the leaders actually feel competent with it, and
it's too quick. Everything's happening too quickly. Our brains aren't equipped.
Yeah, look, 100%. The boards are in sort of the cycles of quarterly or half yearly strategy adjustments, but AI is actually changing every day, and so I mean, people are by reality's rules, they are ignorant of what's coming down the pipeline because everything's changing so quickly.
Exactly, it's bad,
and that hesitation.
All bad.
That hesitation is understandable. You've got very capable people just trying to steady themselves while the ground is shifting beneath their feet. And what is emerging is a reality that AI isn't exposing technical gaps first. It's actually exposing leadership gaps.
So it's not exposing
technical gaps.
Okay, so it's not that I'm technically incompetent.
Yes.
It's that I'm not leading?
You don't have the competencies that are required for you to lead. And
why do I need to lead AI?
Well,
isn't it capable? It seems it's pretty bossy.
Look. AI is simply, speaking very, very generally, it is a pattern-seeking, pattern-generating machine. It seeks patterns to learn, what it is that it's dealing with, and then it just continues those patterns as a way of saying, this is what's going to happen. So if I was to say to you, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy...
dog.
Yeah. Do you want to try that again?
Yeah.
If I was to say to you, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy...
dog.
Now, did the quick brown fox actually jump over the lazy dog, or did you just finish that sentence because that was just predictably, statistically the right word to finish that sentence?
This is the right word.
It's the right word. Okay. So that's the way that AI works.
Like night and...
day.
Up and...
down.
Black and...
white.
Hot and...
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lovely. Antithesis. It gets it recognizes a pattern, and then it simply completes the pattern. And so don't expect AI to have any ethics, any values. Don't expect it to understand context. I mean, you're able to finish the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy
dog
because you've got that context. If you want AI to do something...
it's exhausting.
To do something in which it will give you back what it is that you want, you need to direct it as precisely as a theatre director directs a performer. You have to give it a character and context. You have to get clear on what the intentions are.
You've got to feed the context and the character into it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so a lot of people, you included, talk to AI like it's a machine that is going to give them an answer. But it's not how the systems behave. They don't answer questions. They imitate answers to questions. They take shape around the direction that you give them. And the closest, analogy that we have is the director-actor relationship. When you direct an actor, you don't tell it what to do. You don't dictate emotion. I mean, you might if you're a bad
Director.
a bad director, a high school director. But if you're a professional director and you want to be working with respect with a professional performer, you will have a conversation and you'll set the intention. You'll give the actor context for the scene. You'll break the work into beats. You'll create a space where the performer can discover something real for themselves.
But the AI is not like an actor. It's not real.
No, it's not.
It hasn't got a beating heart.
Look, it is as real as an actor insofar as that it has strengths and weaknesses. It will do what you want it to do. What's the difference between an actor, dealing with a difficult text, a difficult character like Richard III or Portia, an actor that has direction and an actor that has no direction, just instinctively? What's the difference between the performances?
A vague, generalised performance.
If you don't give them good direction,
yeah,
and if you
actors are terrible without direction.
Yeah, actors are terrible with bad direction. AI is terrible and embarrassing. And
yeah, but how do you know? I don't get it. Like, how do you then know which one of the LLMs to go to?
All right. Look, I mean, that's an interesting question. Which one should I choose? Should I choose ChatGPT? Should I choose Claude? Should I choose Perplexity? Should I choose Gemini or
heard of all
Copilot?
these.
I mean, okay, so AI is across all of these things. My advice, look, there's two schools of thought. One advice is to pick one and stick. So go deep and wide with OpenAI and ChatGPT and custom GPTs.
Why would you do that?
Because the deeper that you go with an AI...
the more it gets to know the context.
Well, the more it gets to know your context... and the more it gets to know what you expect of it. Okay? So if you...
Wish they'd never bloody invented it.
Look, one way of describing what we've done, for many years we've been worried about sort of alien intelligence coming in and taking over the planet Earth. What humanity has done collectively is that we have manufactured that intelligence. We do have an alien intelligence. It's in action on the planet at the moment. People are using it and profiting from it.
It can't do everything.
And it can't do everything.
I tell you what it can't do.
What can't it do?
This morning when I was on a walk back from the beach, there was a boy standing next to a car, and it was a P-plater, which is a provisional licence here in Australia. And across the road from him were two fire trucks, two fire engines, and standing around the car were 5 fire and rescue people.
Okay, I can picture that.
Yeah, that were trying to break into his car for him.
Yes.
With a coat hanger.
Oh, good. Right, okay.
And they were all there, and there they were. And I thought, God, we're an extraordinarily well-resourced part of the country, aren't we?
Yeah, there's
2 fire trucks.
And a wire coat hanger.
And there they all were, and he was standing there, and it was quite a jolly little... It was a very sweet scene. I really appreciated, living in Australia at that moment. But there's something that, no AI can't do that.
What, can't open a car with a hangover, a coat hanger?
No, can't.
Okay, look, that's tremendously insightful.
I know.
It can't do anything physical. Do you know it will though one day? And here's the other scary thing that's on the way.
But will it want to? I mean, they sort of looked engaged.
Will it want to help?
And they wanted to help, and they were awesome.
No, it. Okay, so robotics and AI is really mind blowing. So we're now building autonomous robots that can move around the planet, and I think could probably manipulate a wire coat hanger into a broken down, a locked out car.
But would they ever have the empathy to want to help?
No, of course not. Okay, so this is the point. Artificial intelligence, for all its strengths, it has no human emotion whatsoever. It has no emotion, no ethics, no value. However, you can provide it to them. You can give it to them in the prompt. A lot of people talking about prompt engineering at the moment. And
because you changed the prompt for me this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we started off on this. You changed the prompt, didn't you? I had ChatGPT and I thought it was pretty pedestrian.
Yeah. Because you simply ask the question, what's the difference between...
And I was hoping it would give me a new thing, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And then what did you do? You changed the prompt?
Well, what I did was I actually applied what our approach is, and that is to treat artificial intelligence like it's a performer. So the first thing that we did was I cast the character of the AI. Mm-hmm. I told it that it was playing a psychologically literate, warmly pragmatic insight curator, a guide who understands human behaviour.
Now, where did you come up with that language?
Where did I come up with that language?
Yeah, because that's very specific.
Yeah, it is very specific.
Psychologically literate, warmly pragmatic insight curator. Where did you come up with that?
Can I keep going and then
Please
I'll tell
do.
you where I came up with?
Please do.
Because what this prompt is giving at the start is a character, right? So this is what you are, and you understand human behaviour, emotional dynamics, and relational power. You think like a coach, you speak like a storyteller, and you communicate like someone who knows confidence and clarity are acts of self-protection, not self-judgment. So basically, I'm giving the AI a character and a backstory and a perspective, and I give it a worldview. And the worldview is that forgiveness is complex.
You gave it that?
Yes, I gave it that. And so that's the character. I told it what the intention was.
But hang on, can we scroll up again?
Yeah.
Where did you... I'm interested in that language at the top because it's very...
Right. Okay. So I would say that I've moved beyond beginner level when it comes to working with AI. And when I've got a question like the one that you're asking, I know that to get a good result, I need to provide it with a character, an intention.
Yeah.
I need to, give it the structure that it's doing. I need to give it performance notes. I need to give it constraints. Rehearsal logic.
Yeah.
I'm basically using the same concepts that we use when we are
directing actors.
But,
so you came up with psychologically literate.
Well, actually, I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't in this instance, because what I have done is I have built a custom GPT. So again, for those who don't know, you can use the standard OpenAI ChatGPT. You can also build an assistant that will do things for you. And I have built an assistant that helps me to write prompts that work. So
how hard was that? So for our listeners, how difficult was that process? Because you've been locked in this studio, as far as I could see, for about 6 weeks working on this, right?
Yeah.
From dawn till dusk. Occasionally I throw a glass of water at you and some dry bread.
Yes, with a
delicious dinner at night, though, may I say.
Exactly.
Always a delicious dinner at night that's vegetable heavy.
And I'm enormously grateful for this.
And thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if your knowledge of working with AI says you need to get your prompts right, well, here's the process that you can go through. You could go to, let's say we're using ChatGPT, but once again, all of them are going to behave somewhat similarly. You'll go to ChatGPT and you'll say, okay, I want you to help me write effective prompts. Effective prompts that do this, that, and the other. And then it will give you the character and the intention and the background. It basically gives you the prompt to write the prompts.
Yeah, I get it. So the psychologically literate, warmly pragmatic, insight curator who thinks like a coach, speaks like a storyteller, communicates like someone who knows confidence.
Yep.
It understands his worldviews. Forgiveness is complex, empowering in some circumstances, costly in another. The scene. Yeah, it's like... It is sort of like looking at a play.
Yeah.
It is like a play. It's really interesting. I would never have thought that because I've ignored you for the past 6 weeks because I'm, sort of organically or instinctively bored by the whole thing. But this is interesting. If you
just sort of tone down the artificial in artificial intelligence and actually appreciate that what we're working with is unintelligence.
An intelligence.
It is an intelligence.
Yep.
And to get the best out of unintelligence.
Intelligence. You're saying unintelligence.
An intelligence. To get the best out of your LLM, you want to give it instructions. So of the limitless directions that it can go in, it goes in the direction that you want it to go in. So yes, I'd be very happy if anybody wanted to reach out and say, could we have access to your prompt generator?
Anybody who needs help with this, because I've got a live-in helper here who knows stuff and sort of can sort of override my antipathy. So if ever you want any help, do let us know, because David can also sort of talk to you from anywhere in the world, even though we're in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, because he is really good at this. I don't mean to sound surprised, but I have ignored it because it's what I'm like.
Yes. But I think that you're going to become more interested as better prompts give you much better results in terms of the kind of research that you want, the kind of angles that you can take, the way that you can shape arguments and things like that.
Okay, that's true.
I didn't.
What?
I didn't actually finish the two
I've
choices.
barely spoken in this episode. Go on.
Oh well, okay.
No, go on. Do it.
Well, let me just finish this.
Okay.
One school of thought is that you get to know one LLM really, really well.
Yeah, is that true?
Yeah. Look,
Which is your favourite then?
Okay, so the LLM that I've got to know really well is the OpenAI, so the ChatGPTs. It was the first one that I started with. They have continued to evolve and add new features to keep me interested. However, I have gone fairly deep and wide with Perplexity, and that's fantastic for research. I do have a relationship with Claude, who helps me generate code.
Good God, David.
I do work with Copilot because Copilot is sort of right inside the Microsoft suite, and I do look at how we can get insights out of Excel and put them into PowerPoint and those sorts of things. So, and also Gemini, which is the Google one. And
that's a lot.
You
just sort of one, and you just mentioned 6.
That's right. And so this is the alternative point of view.
Oh.
Go deep and wide with one, or you can do what I've done, which is to go as deep and wide as you can with one in particular, but find out what the strengths of the other ones are. So it's not that you've just got one actor that you are now.
You've got 6.
You've got an ensemble.
You've got an ensemble cast.
An ensemble cast.
For opening night.
That's right. So my research prompts I will generate in ChatGPT. I will put those research prompts into Perplexity, and that will do the research. I might consolidate all of that research into a single document and put that into Claude, and then ask Claude to build me an HTML interactive dashboard that helps us work through a process. So you can go from one to one to one. My suggestion is that you don't do that until you have built a solid relationship with your foundational LLM. So the challenge here is to find a way to work with AI every day that feels like it's an extension of your capability, an extension of your leadership. Because working with AI starts with fluency, not expertise, right? You don't need to learn how to code. You just need enough literacy to ask the smart questions, spot bad assumptions, and continue to drive towards excellence. I think that because some people have seen just how quickly AI can work, and the outputs immediately appear very, very convincing and compelling and credible, they start to think that it's a quick process. It can definitely be quicker when you are automating the research tasks and using the incredible reach and depth that an AI can go to. But to think that you're going to get it in one go is as stupid as a director thinking he's going to get a great performance out of a cast with one run through of the play. You need to iterate. You need to spend time on it. I would suggest that you spend time thinking about what your workflow is going to be. Pose the question, do the research. Take that research, draw from it a report or some conclusions or some findings or the skeleton structure of a PowerPoint presentation. Taking some of the ideas into image generation or video generation and bring your ideas to life. You can get a workflow that can be very solid, but it is about repetition. Don't worry that you don't feel you're in control of the whole thing. Just start, set little short-term objectives like, I want to improve the quality of my prompts, and learn how what you put in your prompt is going to directly impact your outputs. So, that's the most practical advice I can give, in this format around how to really start working effectively with artificial intelligence.
We all know that there's shocking bias in AI in terms of hiring decisions in companies, in terms of healthcare. It's distinctly, puts women at a disadvantage.
Yeah, yeah. It puts any demographic that is not the mainstream, not the core, at a disadvantage. Because again, think about what I was saying earlier about what AI fundamentally is. It's it's autocorrect. It's predictive. It's statistical, and when searching for the best candidate, it will look at who have been the candidates selected in the past, and it'll use historical data taken from a time when gender biases were.
Men are the scientists and women are the nurses.
That's right.
And also, if it goes back, historically, in terms of medical research, we know that medical research is absolutely geared towards men and not about the specifics of women's, symptoms and the difference biologically between men and women. We know it's been way more research to do with men.
That's right, and also. People of colour have drawn the short straw as well around medical things.
Oh, terrible!
Quite specifically around skincare products and things like that fail to take into consideration the different effect of having more pigmentation in your skin.
Yeah, exactly.
When you do a search, give me an image of leaders discussing strategy. I guarantee that you'll probably see more men around the table than there will be women, and they will probably all have beards, and they will probably be all of a certain age.
How old is that? Like 42?
Oh yeah, roughly. I mean, that's it
that's
gives
your prime age, right?
That's right. It gives you the mean. Yeah. And I can tell you that if there are any women in the photograph of leaders sitting around the table talking strategy, they are probably, about 30 years old, slim, very attractive, and they'll have straight hair. There won't be any interesting sizes and shapes.
What about, will they have hair like me, curly hair?
No, because curly hair is wild and creative and non-strategic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I mean, someone with curly hair.
Like I should be like a wildly artistic, deeply disorganized sort of maverick, shouldn't I, really, with my hair?
Show me a portrait of the HR team celebrating at the annual general conference. That's where you'll turn up.
What, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, women with long curly hair.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. Okay.
And they'll probably be, a bit diverse in their look as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's really annoying. I mean, I do get your point. This actually, I regret that I've just left you to sort of moulder in here for 6 years while I ignored you.
Yeah.
I did keep the food up, didn't I?
You did keep the food up. Look, Annie, what I want you to know is that AI is not a threat to your life, right? It's not a threat to all of the things that you are competent in. In fact, I reckon it's a spotlight for it, because I think it's the skills that many women innately have, that sort of natural emotional intelligence, clarity about what's important, the capacity for nuance, being aware of relational issues. This is exactly what organisations seeking to harness AI actually need. There's nothing in the data that suggests that brusque certainty is the winning trait of the AI era. And it's actually quite the opposite. It's the leaders who can communicate clearly, humbly, stay grounded under pressure, and collaborate with real boldness. They're the ones who are going to be shaping the future.
Oh, shaping the future.
And I do think that I think that where women leaders are demonstrating strengths, those are the strengths that are going to get the most out of AI.
Okay. All right. I forgive you for spending 6 weeks in here working that out.
And I forgive you for leaving me to moulder.
Moulder. You mouldered in here, didn't you?
Okay, call me Fox.
You even told me to leave you alone, like, frequently.
Oh,
said,
yeah,
can
well,
you please not interrupt
but it was
me?"
necessary.
Yeah, but it's still quite gendered because I'm also doing stuff. I tell you what, when I've put my book that I'm currently writing and said, I'll put it in to sort of look at structure, the stuff it gives me back is rubbish. It's so awful. It's like the worst romance novel.
Okay,
People are kissing the downy heads of babies. I want to shoot myself. It's dreadful.
So let's see if you've been listening. When AI gives you a really bad
prompt,
a really bad output, a really bad result,
what do I do?
Is it not what do you do?
Oh, I know why.
Let's assign blame. Is it its fault or is it yours?
Mine.
Yes. Yeah, you've been listening.
It's my fault.
It's your fault. And what could you do instead?
I could give it a better prompt.
You could give it a better prompt.
I could develop my own helper assistant that helps me with good prompts.
Yeah, okay. So now imagine you're directing an actor.
I can't do code.
Imagine
I'd
you're
give
directing...
it a character.
Okay. So
I'd give it a context and I give it a character and I give it a worldview.
Right, I'm your LLM.
Yeah.
Right. You want to do some. What do you want to do? Do you want to do some research? Do you want a sample paragraph? Do you want a poem? Do you want music?
I want to segue from one incident in my novel. I want an idea for a segue into another.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Okay. So you're looking for editorial advice?
No.
No?
No.
You're looking for... Well,
it's a narrative leap.
A narrative leap. Okay. So I'll be your avatar. I'll be your LLM.
I don't want to play this game.
In order to actually give you what you want, what would I have to be?
Well,
you want a narrative device, yeah?
Yeah, you'd have to be you'd have to have a good grasp of the language, you'd have to be articulate, you'd have to understand the context of the story that I'm writing.
Okay, no, slow down. So what's the role? What am I? So Annie, imagine that you're preparing your prompt and you are prompting an actor. I'll be your actor. What are the things that you would tell me if you wanted me to perform what it is that you want me to perform? What would you have to do?
Well, I'd have to cast the character.
Yes. Yeah, so who am I?
You're literary and you're a storyteller.
Yeah. And what are my values or what's my worldview? What kind of storyteller am I?
Well, you're not it's not mechanical. You're an emotional storyteller who takes who takes people from one state that they're in, the reader, to another state, sort of. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it sounds like that I'm a literary storyteller.
You're articulate.
Who is articulate and has a feeling for emotion. The emotion
feeling
for the
emotion,
audience.
yeah.
And I think that transitions should actually have emotional fidelity. Yeah.
And then what I want you to do is help me, the author, uncover a whole lot of creative options for segue between two scenes.
Yeah, okay.
About a wild birth.
Rightio. So that's what I am.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Are there any things that you want me to bear in mind as I'm doing that? Are there any things that you don't want me to do? Any things that you want me to leave out?
Well, I don't want that crappy cliche business. I hate all that.
Yeah.
I don't want cliches about birth. It's quiet yo-yo.
Okay. So
I don't want you to over-explain. I don't want it to be overwritten.
Yep.
And I want to sort of intuitively that you should be guided by let the imagery guide it. I just don't want it to be mechanical.
Yeah. Okay. And look, we could go further, but I'm starting to get the ingredients of a prompt,
and that's what I would need to put in.
Yeah.
And what I was putting in was give me a segue.
Give me this
in my book about a wild birth.
Yeah, it's like saying to an actor, just act better.
Yeah, that's the worst note.
Yeah, do a monologue in an interesting and vaguely comedic way.
Yeah, be funnier.
Yeah, be funny.
Can you be funny?
Yeah,
I've had that.
It's a bit like that casting that I went to yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just like be this, and it's like be what?
Be what? Exactly. That terrible prompts.
And look, this is actually a point not to be missed.
Yeah.
That the same communication skills that a director uses with an actor.
Yeah.
That a prompt engineer or a leader or a manager uses when prompting an LLM, they are exactly the same skills, dressed up differently, but they are the same skills that we employ when we are simply drawing a performance out of another human being.
You have not wasted
the past 6 weeks. I commend you on your analysis because, I mean, I never, ever would have come to that conclusion that, you know, you can, if you're prompting AI, you've got to treat the AI like a director teaches an actor. I just would never have come up with that. And I can actually see, I don't mean to be daggy about it, but I can actually see how that could help me.
Yeah. And look, the best evidence that something works is something working for you.
Yeah.
So, Annie, I am going to encourage you to start experimenting with AI and directing AI in my absence.
Well, where are you going?
I'm going to go moulder somewhere else.
Go moulder somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to go to the Maldives.
Mouldering in the Maldives.
Mouldering in the Maldives. I'd quite like that. Anyway, that's very good. That's very helpful. Thank you, David.
You're welcome, Annie.
Well
And
done.
I hope that was useful.
Well done. Let us know if you want any help, David. It's very helpful.
There is a web page that includes a lot of this in more detail, and time to go through it in your own time if you'd like. And
we'll put that in the show notes.
Harry will put it in the show notes. It's simply ku.college/directing-AI. Directing-AI at ku.college.
I'm finishing now.
Okay. And I will be quiet.
Good. Thank you so much, smart women, for tuning in. I hope that was helpful. I actually found it helpful. That's for sure. So I hope you did too. So wherever you are in the world today, stay safe, stay well, and keep your critical thinking hats on. See you later. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.